thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Good evening, Alfred. How are you doing?
I'm well. I mean, it could have been better if this incident did not happen in the first place. But then again, we're getting to know the full details of the report right now. And first off, listening to the details of it as was presented earlier today by Captain Forjoe, and two things standing out: adverse weather and limited visibility. And the aircraft was not even equipped with the needed instruments to detect the bad weather, and they didn't even get any warning from the command center before they got to that point. Concerning, to say the least, is it not?
No, I don't think this is what he said. You know, they have been operating these Z helicopters and other helicopters in Ghana Air Force. Without these enhancements, I mean, these Z9 recently flew the president and all over the country. They've been zigzag. Much as we may need some enhancements, these enhancements would have prevented the accident.
The enhancements couldn't...
The operator knows how he's going to operate this aircraft. And these planes have been flying for the last 10, 15 years without an accident. If we're talking about enhancement, they are good recent development, but they couldn't, as Forjoe said, prevented the accident.
I see, but then there was a clear reference to what the bad weather component, which was in fact the major reason that has been identified for this crash. Bad weather that led to limited visibility. Right? Is that to say that... Yes, I was saying that, is that to say that, I mean, if we have been flying this, as you're saying, for the past 10 to 15 years, it had been navigating bad weather all the while, and so this wouldn't have been anything different?
Well, he has said it. Even Captain Forjoe has said it wouldn't have averted the crash. It enhances, but it couldn't have averted what happened.
Yes, but then again, that's why I say the underlying concern here is if you're flying, obviously you would have to envisage bad weather. You've been in the skies for a long time.
We know no one has control of the weather. No one, yes. No matter how sophisticated your aircraft is. You are at the mercy of the weather. And if you realize before takeoff from Accra, he must have fired his flight plan to Boise, and he flew all the way, just about 6 minutes to land when this thing happened. You can't control the weather.
Yes, but that said, I think that's a fair point that has been established. But even before the takeoff, which you referenced, according to the details of this report, takeoff was delayed for about an hour because of bad weather.
But that is how it should be. The control tower will not clear you until weather is okay. So once the control tower clears you, the weather is okay, take off and en route. That's it, you go. Planes are delayed all the time.
Indeed, and that's why if it was delayed as a result of bad weather and then eventually cleared to go, that... Yes, based on that, at least there was that indication, as you have indicated, that you are at the mercy of the weather. But then, if because of bad weather you were delayed for an hour, there's a clear indication of what is ahead of you, is it not?
No, sir, I disagree with you. Weather en route is different from a sudden weather change.
I didn't get that. You said what is different?
I said that once the control tower clears you, this accident happened 6 minutes to London. So weather en route might have changed. It wasn't a weather persisting in Accra or on a route at the time they cleared it.
Yes, but then the question about the helicopter flying at a high altitude, then all of a sudden it dropped to a low altitude. Even before today, you had indicated that the answer to that question would unlock what caused this crash. Did you get that answer today?
If you remember when the accident happened in your studio, I said what we should find out what caused the aircraft to lose height. And now the Board of Inquiry have exonerated the aircraft and the pilots. The weather en route is not something which is like a tree standing, a mango, you're going to take it. Weather can change at any time.
But explain this to me. When Captain Forjoe says the investigation determined that the immediate cause of the accident was the sudden loss of altitude and lift due to downdraft. The
downdraft, listen.
Yes.
The downdraft pushed the aircraft down. We have downdraft and updraft. The downdraft pushed the aircraft down in that situation. And they were trying to lift up to go through they've gone through IMC. A downdraft, you see.
Yeah, I can hear you.
When you are flying a normal fixed-wing aircraft, we fly such a high altitude that downdraft doesn't cause a problem. But helicopters flying in visual flight regulations, which means that the pilot might see the ground. So they are not maybe 1,000, 2,000 feet above the highest object. And so if you have a downdraft, by the time you get into it and it pushes you down, the time you have to recover is very short, small seconds. And the plane couldn't go up because the downdraft was pushing it down.
And he said that this loss of height occurred without any change in the power or pitch attitude from the crew.
It's not the power. The power will make you lose height. But the cause of the downdraft, the aircraft coming down, was caused by the weather.
Yes. And one other finding, and because you touched on the control tower information between the time of departure and then the expected time of arrival, there was a finding of the lack of en route weather information. A major environmental constraint was the lack of weather information available to the pilot along the flight route. The crew relied only on
Africa.
Yes.
Accra Obuasi is not a normal air route. You can't have those gadgets fixed up in the whole country. How many times we fly from Accra to Obuasi? If you're talking about maybe Accra Kumasi, yes, it's a route. But Accra to Obuasi is not a normal route that you can have those gadgets planted, service them, then once a while a plane will fly there. It's not possible.
I want us to take a listen to exactly the point he made about the weather.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, perfect. And I'm going to come back to you on it. Let's take a listen to Captain Forjoe on the weather impact.
There was adverse weather. There was limited visibility. There was rising rugged terrain. With this terrain induced complicating factors. And there were no ground-based navigational route aids en route. The investigation would like to say that from everything they gathered, the emergency response was very timely. The fact that these first responders managed to get to the site in about 2 hours was remarkable.
That's the verdict of the findings.
What I'm saying is that Accra Obuasi is not a normal route, and you can't have scattered gadgets all over the country. It is not possible. Even United States, where recently a helicopter flew into an airline losing 78 people, it didn't happen.
I see, but now we're having to deal with this situation where the lack of en route weather information, which you say the route is not a normal route, but according to the details of this investigation, the crew relied only on aerodrome weather reports.
And that's the only thing they could have.
For Accra and Kumasi. That's all they had, the aerodrome weather reports.
Yes, we have two types of flights. We have visual flight regulations and instruments. On the visual, the pilot might be in constant vision of the earth. or whatever it is, okay? And you are in control. When you go in the flight information reading, that's about 10,000 feet, then you are controlled. But the visual VFR, you are not controlled. You have to do your own navigation from point A to point B. And as he said, yes, it is true that we don't have gadgets fixed, but they cannot fit gadgets everywhere. They can't. They're expensive to maintain. How many times are they going to contact them?
And because of this particular issue, there was also the identification of the limited national navigational capability. That's the point that you ended on. Because, and if you permit me.
I'm saying that even advanced countries, you don't have navigation instruments scattered all over. Unless you go to a flight information center, get information in the flight room, you know, AFR, then you can go into corridors. But VFR, you don't need them.
Right.
You don't need them. I've flown in Brazil, flown in Italy, you don't need them. And in fact, these gadgets didn't cause the accident.
Well, because one of the findings is the systemic factor was the limited national navigational capability available for providing both en route and remote areas weather services to the aircraft. The environment also lacked ground-based navigational aids.
I am telling you, Ghana doesn't have it. And the pilot was flying visual flying rules. That means you fly, everything was under his control. There were no gadgets we communicated to. We don't have it. And that's not a responsibility of Ghana Air Force. It's civil aviation.
As the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. And I want you to stay with me because I just want to run through some of the recommendations. When Commander will round up on this. Some of the recommendations, in terms of the safety recommendations, they talk about the modernizing the Ghana Air Force fleet, which Captain Forjoe says it has to be as soon as possible, immediately. Says no time to waste on that one. Acquire aircraft with the terrain awareness and warning systems, and then also enhance ground proximity warning systems. That's the TAWS and then EGPWS and advanced navigation systems. Install CVR, that is the cockpit voice recorder, and then also flight data recorder with audiovisual capability. Invest in flight simulators for regular training. When Commander Shobodo, way to go, this?
I would ask Forjoe, who I know very well, a good pilot. His elder brother on the same squadron with me, he died, may he rest in peace. What I'm saying is that the gadgets which you are talking about were not the cause of the accident. He said that in his report. You know, you can have them or you can still have an air crash as an accident. This was a weather type of emergency they went into, and that's what happened. If you're talking about modernization of our air fleet, if the country has the money, why not? The Air Force will be happy. But I can tell you that planes are not judged by their age, they are judged by their flying hours.
Thank you. This is one that is going to be a subject of a lot more conversation to understand how the way forward should be. I think the most important thing is the big takeaway so that this does not happen again. And that's what has influenced these recommendations. What should be the big takeaway so that this doesn't happen again, beyond what we have just read in this report? I round up on this one. Wing Commander.
Of inquiries are supposed to be a learning lesson for pilots to become aware of them. But when they have incidents like this, which is the weather, we just shut up and give them a downdraft. Anybody can fall in that category. Anyone. And I'm saying the enhancement things he's talking about are good if you have them. But the Air Force was inaugurated about 1959. And from 1959, we had only 4 crashes. And Ghana Air Force is very respected in flight safety matters.
When Commander Shobodo, thank you so much for joining us on Ghana Tonight.
I also appreciate your time.
Indeed.
Let them rest on this once and for all. It's just an accident. Thank you.
Well, thank you, but also the families of these persons and the gallant Ghanaians we've lost, are living with the heavy impact of the loss and need closure as well. That's why this is also important. Thank you. When Commander Forjoe retired, thank you for joining us here.